Warning: this podcast may contain adult language not suitable for snowflakes. In addition, you may see smoking and be subject to opinions you cannot handle. If you are a snowflake, please stop this video and go fuck yourself.
All right, welcome back into 3R. It's been a while. I apologize. I have been working a lot of overtime for my actual job as well as my video reaction and review channels starting to take off a little bit. So I've been kind of splitting time here. I didn't see a whole lot in the news lately, but I did have something I wanted to discuss. I started just kind of going back through my music catalog and trying to figure out why I don't listen to bands, certain bands like I used to. And it keeps coming back down to something that I've always said. And that is, if you replace the singer, you lose me for the most part. To me, the singer's voice is the mute. I mean, it's the identity of the band, not to mention the front man, the face of the band, the voice of the songs, and give you a few examples of what's on my mind here. Skid Row, right? No secret, I'm not a fan of Sebastian Bach as a human being, but that first album was absolutely stellar. The second album, yeah, Monkey Business. There's a couple decent songs here. There wasn't really my thing. Kind of took a turn to the worse for me as far as going into a little heavier, darker direction. But nonetheless, you knew it was Skid Row, right? And then Sebastian's out doing his own thing. And when Sebastian's playing clubs and doing Skid Row songs, it's Skid Row. When Eric Gronwell is with Skid Row or whoever, even though they may sound similar to Sebastian Bach, it's not the same, is it? The vibe on stage isn't the same. Obviously, the look is not the same. It now feels like you're watching, I don't want to say a tribute band, but just a cover band in a bar, who may be doing the songs justice, but at the end of the day, it's just not the same. We move on to another one of my favorite bands of all time, in Warrant. Janie Lane, one of the most gifted voices, frontmen, and songwriters of the entire genre. Rest in peace. Well, once he was out of Warrant, Warrant ceased to be Warrant, regardless of what name they would put behind, the other members. It's not, without Janie Lane, you lose the essence of the band. You lose the voice of the band. You lose the face of the band. You lose that energetic front man of the band. Great White. Now, even though I did see Great White with the new singer here, since they've been through like 5, but it's on my channel, on my live channel, the little guy, and he sounded really good, but it was one of the most boring shows I've ever seen in my life. And that's not to say Jack Russell was an energetic front man, but it just, they kind of lost their way completely with their look and everything. I mean, when Kendall's up there with no more hair, which is fine, I guess, but didn't have, the old shark tooth top hat thing on. He had just a baseball cap on or whatever, and a t-shirt and jeans. I mean, it's like they weren't even trying, right? But you lose something. And when I say cover band or tribute band, the Ace Frehley, Peter Criss fans will always try to, see, that's what Kiss is doing. No, Kiss is not doing that, because Paul and Gene are there. And why is it okay for Paul and Gene to be there without Ace and Peter? Because they're the voice of the band, both on stage and off. easily 95% of all songs done in concert, say for Black Diamond, Beth, Shock Me. I mean, really, Hard Luck Woman once in a great while. You're not losing God of Thunder. You're not losing Detroit Rock City to some other voice. You're not losing the stage raps and the blood spitting and the fire and all that. That's Paul and Gene, the essence of the band. Coincidental that they're the singers? No, I don't think so. I'll give you a good example of how much the singer doesn't matter. At least for me. I mean, the rest of the band doesn't matter. I never knew a Santana song, to my knowledge, my entire life. I always thought and equated the only thing I knew from Santana, other than his legendary status, was the song Smooth that he did with that Latin singer. Because to me, Santana, I always thought was just a guitar player. I had no idea that his albums were actually, with vocals and everything until I heard, I forget which song it is. It's a really good fucking song on the radio. And they said Santana. I'm like, really? Because Carlos Santana isn't the voice of the band. So hypothetically, if they were huge still, like Kiss, AC/DC, whatever, and they still had that singer who everybody knew the songs to, would you notice if Santana wasn't there? If you had a blindfold on? No. I mean, but the voice, you switch. If the guy had a legendary voice and stayed with the band for, I don't know nothing about Santana. I'm just saying, say they had a 50-year career with, hits and were household names and all that stuff like, the big boys are. And I'm not taking nothing away from Santana, but let's be honest, they're nowhere near on the level of popularity and being world renowned as, say, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Kiss, stuff like that. And if they had the same singer the entire time and then they took it away, that would be less easily accepted than if Santana himself was gone. You look at Van Halen, arguably one of the greatest guitar players in the world, and became the co-poster child with that band with David Lee Roth. But the thing is, if somebody puts on Sammy Hagar, right? Never a fan. I don't care for him, whatever. But it clearly did not sound anything remotely close to Jump, Panama, freaking Running with the Devil, Dance the Night Away, with Sammy singing, right? I'm not saying he did a bad job. I'm saying it wasn't the same without Dave's voice. It sure as hell wasn't the same with the stage persona. I mean, you can't get much more high energy, top-notch frontman than David Lee Roth. So what I'm saying is, no matter Extreme, arguably more famous for Nuno Bettencourt than Gary Cherone. In fact, I would argue that most people who are not Extreme fans don't even know the name Gary Cherone. However, he is the essence of Extreme. Say what you want about Nuno's signature guitar playing and his, unbelievable ability. Yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day, there are a million guitar players out there that could probably play these songs respectably. But without Gary's voice, it no longer sounds like Extreme. I mean, there's example after example. Kingdom Come, one of my favorite vocalists, Lenny Wolf. He carried on Kingdom Come and then Lenny Wolf. And I watched this new version of Kingdom Come on live video. They're fucking horrible. The singer's terrible. I mean, I love one of the greatest albums, especially for a debut album, is Kingdom Come's, first album. And I love every song on there. I can't fucking stand it with this other thing. It's fucking horrible. So, I mean, I would like to see if you guys could point me in an example. There have been a couple. You could argue that Sammy Hagar, Van Hagar, had as much, if not more, public radio play popularity, but it wasn't the same band, right? They went from a rock band to a pop band with Sammy Hagar. So there's one instance where switching singers didn't cripple the band. Another one I would say, obviously, they didn't have any huge success, but Britney Fox, when they switched to Paris, still sounded like the same style of music, still a killer voice. They really didn't miss a beat without Dean Davidson there on vocals. But for the most part, when you lose the singer, you lose your identity on stage, audibly. It's not the same. And I understand name recognition. You got to carry on. Your name is known and all that stuff. But in a perfect world to me, when you lose the essence of that sound, the band should just change the name and become something else and start from scratch. And I know that's not, realistic. You're not going to just throw in the towel and lose all your notoriety. I get that. But how much are you really doing? I mean, Skid Row's playing casinos. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying they're not, they weren't asked to be on the stadium tour. I mean, Great White, they're playing little arenas, doing okay. Jack Russell, playing some, bar venues or some little amphitheaters or something, I'm sure. But when you take that stuff away, the energy, the face, and the vocal sound, you're no longer that band, no matter what the banner in the background says. That's my opinion. It just is what it is. So no matter how much of an important part an Ace, a Peter, pick your band member who's not there anymore, but the singer is. No matter how important, look at L.A. Guns went through. Did anybody give a rat's? I mean, God rest the soul of Riley, but did anybody give a shit about Riley's L.A. Guns? Really? No, the only time I went is when I made damn sure it was Phil Lewis. The sound of L.A. Guns. So I forgot where I was going with that train of thought, but at the end of the day, for me, I just haven't seen it be successful. Even if it's something I don't mind the sound of, they're never on that level anymore. And you could argue, well, that's because hair metal is not mainstream anymore and all that. And I get all that. It's all valid. But I can't help but think Skid Row would play some bigger venues and get some bigger gigs with Sebastian Bach. Obviously, it's an impossibility, and Warrant took a downturn during the grunge, and partially that was their fault. I mean, Ultraphobic was a great album, although a different sound, but they were getting progressively heavier anyway with Dog Eat Dog. But with the belly to belly thing, that was complete trash. So they already kind of tanked. And at that point, we're playing bars. In fact, they played a bar here. But still, I have to believe more people would care about Warrant if Janie Lane was still alive and in the band. Just Great White. I put up on my other channel, Victory Cast, the live footage with that new singer, and you wouldn't believe the amount of comments. That's not Great White. That's not Great White. That's not Great White. He's not Jack Russell. He's not. I mean, it's to a casual fan who just knows the songs from the radio and couldn't put a face to the song or a name of a band to the song. If the singer's close, they probably don't even notice, right? But for educated rock metal fans who care more about what's on the radio and would rather follow a band with some loyalty and things that seem to be lost on the younger generations, it's a big deal. It's the difference between going to a show and not. It really is. And when things are based solely pretty much on attendance and merch, because streaming makes these bands no fucking money at all, really. It's very important that bands like Skid Row put their fucking differences aside if they want to go out as something legit or as a flash in the pan for one album. I mean, it's just that simple to me. And I know not everybody gets along. God knows, as a lifelong Kiss fan, it's clearly fucking evident, but they dropped the ball. Paul, Gene, Ace, Peter, they all fucking have faults. They all fucked it up. Forget about the past. I'm saying they fucked up this farewell, this end of the road thing. They could have easily just, in Ace and Peter's case, stop worrying about making what Paul and Gene are making for money. In Paul and Gene's case, stop worrying about them underperforming and add some drum tracks for them, add some, guitar tracks for Ace. Whatever you had to do, there was a way to do it, right? And it would have been a bigger deal than it was, and it's hard to knock it because everything was sold out. It didn't matter anyway, but still leaves a bitter taste in my mouth and a lot of fans' mouths that all of this end of the road, paused during the pandemic, picked up, extended, added another year, 2 years, big announcement, 2 final shows, where it all started, right? And it was the same show as the first show of the end of the road, and minus the stage, same set list, the same theatrics, the same gimmicks as every tour from, the past 20 years. They did nothing. Well, that's a whole separate rant. I don't even know how I got on that. Huh. All right. Well, fuck it. I don't care. Anyways, what I do want to do is I got a kick-ass comment that I want to share with you. And this is from G-Man God, Guns, and Guitars. How fucking cool is that? He says, and this is on the video from where I did Ace Frehley and his IQ. Greetings and salutations from Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City, my brother. Hey, man, love your channel. No BS, just plain good old straight ahead commentary on some good old straight ahead rock and roll. By the way, I can't be the only one that told you have one of those booming professional radio voices, my friend. I've heard that a couple of times only on this channel. I've always been one of those people where if someone records you talking and I hear it, I fucking cringe. I hate the sound of my fucking voice, but that's a cool comment. He says, I've been a professional musician and a professional audio engineer in Las Vegas for 40 years, and I know talent when I see or hear it. And you, my friend, have got the it factor. How fucking cool is that for him to say? You just have that thing that comes across as knowing what you're talking about and not caring what people think about it. Keep up the good work, my friend. New sub here. God bless and take care. And G-Man, that is some of the nicest, awesome shit I've been told in my life, man. I certainly appreciate it. I just doing this for fun, man. I mean, if it's making one person happy and giving them something to watch, then success, man. Because this is just a way for me to vent and talk about music. So I'm glad at least a few of you are sticking with me. And again, if you have any topics you would like me to discuss or whatever, just leave them in the comments. I mean, I get to them right away, but I try my best to get to everything in my downtime. So just a quick video to put out because I feel like I've kind of neglected this channel and I will remedy that. But for now, until next time, thanks for watching.